Everybody has a brain, but very few people know how to use it. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to use your brain without getting stressed. When there are two opposite forces acting on something, it undergoes something called stress. Okay, if I pull this object in two opposite directions, then here it's getting stressed. Okay, so that's what it is. So what happens is, if you scatter your energy inside your brain, you will be stressed. From our eyes, we leak energy into our visions of the future that we create. So when I make a to-do list, I've already put I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this. And so it's like taking all your brain power and distributing it among 4 or 5 tasks, many of which may be pulling in opposite directions. They're not compatible tasks. Nobody has compatible tasks to do in the day, right? You may have to bathe, and then you may have to exercise, and then you may have to make breakfast, and then you may have to go somewhere and do something, and then go in another opposite direction and do something else and within your same city. In a day, you might have to do 10 things. Okay, some people are unfortunate and they have to do more than 10 things. Now, let's say you have to do an average of 10 things every day. And these are all important things that you put in on your to-do list. I mean, people even have to put their routine on their to-do list because they don't have the brain power to do it. Okay, so when you put things on your to-do list, forget that you have a to-do list. Okay, that's there somewhere, but you're not going to refer to it at all. What you should do is just take the first item on that and say, and tell your brain, hey brain, we're going to do only this one item. All of those don't exist. Okay, and then you do only the one thing, and you'll be surprised that it gets done, because when there's only one thing, then your brain produces all the motivation chemicals needed to do it, because it feels this is easy, it's within my capacity. So you do the one thing, and then it'll release dopamine, and you can enjoy that for some time. You'll feel the satisfaction of doing one thing, and then you think, do I want to do something else? And then there's your to-do list. So let's do this one. Okay, just one thing. Yeah, just prepare your documents for your passport, for example, and you do only that one thing. And when you do it, you'll be like, wow. And then maybe you want to make a social media post to promote your business. And so you're saying, I'm going to do a social media post to promote my business, because you're full of energy. You've released dopamine twice already today. And so for the third one, you go and release dopamine again. Now, dopamine is a chemical in the brain, which is a reward chemical for having completed something, and it creates a state called happiness. You know, a lot of people feel happiness in advance. They release dopamine just thinking about doing something, and they feel that it's done. And then they release this happiness chemical, and then that thing is not done. So then the brain takes it back. Okay, this is called reuptake. So the brain takes it back and says, no dopamine for you, because you didn't finish your task. It's a reliable system. Okay, it's evolved over thousands and millions of years, and it's a reward system that we have. When we plan something, we release a small amount of dopamine, and that is enough to create motivation to do it. That creates desire. And then if you have 10 things, you can't spread your desire like that. You do your one task, you release your dopamine, and then you go to your next task, and then you do one more task, you release dopamine, you go to your next task, you do one more, you release dopamine, go to your next task. And guess what? This will prevent Parkinson's. People who load their day, they don't release any dopamine because they don't get anything done, and then they just don't even feel that motivation dopamine, because they put such a heavy list upon themselves, and they want to do all of it they want to give their brain power to all of it at once. This is not a good idea. This is a stupid idea. Don't do this. This is not how you use your brain. You have to trick your brain into thinking of only one thing at one time, because that's what it's designed to do. So you do one thing, and then you do the next thing, if you have the dopamine released for that. So you just wait. Okay, once you finished your task, you just wait, and slowly you'll start thinking of the next task, and you take that next task up. So that waiting period is also important for you to release dopamine, enjoy it, and go to the next one. And believe me, you'll be a happy person when you do this. Otherwise, you'll be a miserable person. And because of the high population of miserable people, my teacher, Mahavtar Babaji, pushed me back here to teach all this. It's impossible to be happy if you have a to do list. So don't have a to-do list. I mean, of course, you gotta have a general idea of what needs to be done. Maybe you write it down as well, but you don't even remember it. You just open it and see, yeah, this is what the one thing I have to do. So that's all you have to do. The rest of it is not relevant for you. Imagine you have 10,000 people working under you who will finish it. You just have to do this one thing. Then you do the next one, and then release dopamine, and the next one. Okay, so I can't repeat this enough. This is the way to use your brain. If you use it any other way, you're headed towards Parkinson's. So be very, very careful. All my patients who have Parkinson's are suffering from this disease, and when I teach them how to do one thing at a time, then they start recovering. Okay, so it's very important now that you learn this. And when I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, you don't want Parkinson's. That's the last thing you want. It's terrible. It's terrible. Okay? So people with big to-do lists and lots of stuff to be done, they end up depriving their brain of dopamine. And this can become a very serious disease if you don't pay attention now. Alright. I don't mean to scare you. I'm telling you that this is very, very simple to prevent. Try this out tomorrow and leave a comment and tell me how it went. And if you like this content, hit the like icon, subscribe to my page, and share it with your friends. Don't you want them all to not have Parkinson's and to be happy people? Imagine being surrounded by happy people. So teach this, teach this, teach this, teach people how to use their brain, and you'll be doing humanity a great favor.